Good morning, everybody. Glad to be back with you this morning to answer a few more questions about Global Baptist Training Foundation. And in fact, I just got back from Africa last week, and we had graduations in Tanzania and in Uganda. And these are very encouraging to us, and I hope that they're encouraging to you as well. Our first question comes from Kyla, and Miss Grace is going to answer that question this morning. Where are you two headed to next?
Well, our schedule's lined up basically for the next almost a year, Kyla. In September, Dr. Bruce is going to be in Liberia. He's going to have two different functions there. The second week he's in Liberia, he will have another graduation. This means these pastors have finished our whole program. We have lots of pictures of graduations. Pastor Sam can show you some. But before he does that, he is going to have a training session with some of the pastors who've already graduated in another location in Liberia who want to be trainers for us. That means they take our material and they go out and they train other pastors, and Dr. Bruce gives them special training and pours into them. So that's September. October is Tanzania again with a new class, right? Or training?
No, this is training.
Training. Yeah. And then in November, we'll both be in Rwanda for training. Dr. Bruce will be training trainers from several countries. I will be teaching a women's conference and training a women's trainer. So it's really exciting. The next 3 months are super exciting.
All right, our next question is from Samuel. How many churches have been planted through your ministry? And Samuel, that's a really good question. We thought about that this morning before we did this video, and we think we're somewhere in or near about 400 churches. These are all churches that are started from our graduates. Those who have been in the church planting program, they get about $50 a month for 1 year, and then they launch a church during that period. And you say, how does $50 help them? Well, it's a lot more money to them than it is to us. But more than that, it's really incentivizing to them to become a church planter, knowing that we care enough for them to help them a little bit with their expenses for that first year. And believe it or not, over the last several years that we've seen the church planting program in progress, only about 4 or 5 of those churches have failed. We've seen at least between 350 to 400 churches started and are vibrantly functioning today, reaching people for Christ.
William asked, what's the strangest animal you've seen? Well, you know, with our zoos here, we get to see pretty much animals from Africa and all over the world. So I don't know that I've ever seen a strange animal that we haven't seen. I think we may have seen some strange bugs and spiders. But the really cool thing is that we've gotten to see a lot of animals like elephants and giraffes and zebras and other animals out in the wild.
Different kinds of monkeys.
And that's what I was going to say. The strangest thing is the monkeys, because they come up so close to you. In most of the countries, like in Rwanda and other countries, these monkeys have learned that people will feed them, and they are very, very aggressive. And so we have monkeys around us a lot in these countries. So I would say that's the strangest animal fact. But we love seeing the animals in the wild. It's just amazing.
All right, and the last question is from Parker. How many pastors have you trained? And this is a good question, Parker. We were thinking this morning somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000. It's hard for us to really go back over the 10 or 11 years that we've been doing this, but it's at least that many. The fact is, we go back every year for 2 or 3 years, at least in the minimum, and train the same pastors again and again and again in each country. We're now in 15 countries. We have at least one class, sometimes 2 classes of 50 or more in each of those countries. And that and then reproduces itself every 3 years as we open new countries and as we open new classes. So it's hard to keep a finger on that. We don't do a lot of statistics in that area, nor do we keep a lot of statistics in terms of evangelism. However, the church planners that we are working with this year, 191 churches starting this year alone, we are getting statistics every 3 or 4 months, and we are going to pass those on through our Facebook page.
One. In Liberia alone, There have been 50 church plants this year so far in 2023, and those 50 church plants have reported over 500 people have been saved and baptized. So we're starting to keep statistics, and your question really helps us realize we need to do that. People love to hear that. We're not about numbers, we're about individuals, but we're watching God multiply the gospel in these countries through training nationals.
And we're so thankful for your questions, guys. I mean, it's just wonderful to see how interested you are. And I hope that we can keep this relationship going over time, and you can check in with us and we can share with you what God's doing. And like Miss Grace just said, we are so excited about what he's doing, how he's using the foundation. And more than that, how he's blessing this model of training nationals. It's so effective, so powerful, so productive, and it exponentially multiplies the gospel, whereas missions traditionally has merely added by numbers. And now we're seeing a multiplication factor, which is really, really exciting. Hey, thanks for your questions. Check back with us again when time permits. And God bless you as you serve him.
Thanks, guys.